your Vincent Valentine EX Turk with a new Final Fantasy fan theory. Okay, this is not going to be a Final Fantasy 15, this is going to be one of the older Final Fantasies. Okay, I've been going back and playing my HD collection of 10 and 10-2, and getting further than I did on the PS2 copies, because, well, let's be honest, some bosses I'm just totally ass on, and, you know, so, hold up, give me a minute, so, we're going to be discussing something that, you know, great importance to the fan base. And it's actually something for 10 only, for Final Fantasy 10 fans, or just Final Fantasy fans who want to know some stuff. The question is, okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. It is Tidus, Shuyrin. My sword is Tidus Shuyrin. Yes and no. Tidus was only a memory. If this is spoiler, if you play the end of Final Fantasy X, Tidus disappears after you defeat, you know, Braska's last Aeon, and you get to the end where after they're standing at the ruins of Zanarkand. Now, I got a question. I gotta tell you, why is this important? I'm saying, what I'm saying is important, is because after Final Fantasy X-2 happened 3 or 2 years. I'm not good with numbers. 2 or 3 years. Let's say approximately 2 or 3 years after Final Fantasy X. After that, Shuyrin made an appearance in Final Fantasy X-2. As you can see, the very first sphere you have is when you see Shuyrin locked up in prison for attacking an army using a weapon, spoiler, to protect his girlfriend, Lynn. Or Leanne, or whatever you call these characters. So, yes. I happen to think that Tidus is a part of Shuyrin. Shuyrin lived thousands of years ago. Shuyrin is 1,000 years old. So, I got a question. Is Jack's real son really Tidus? Or is Jack's son really Shuyrin? But Shuyrin used to have the crybaby attitude like he did when, like Tidus did in the game. Like, is Tidus a younger version of Shuyrin? I have to say yes, because after Shuyrin was defeated, depending on the ending you got in 10-2, depending on the ending you got in 10-2, Tidus reappears. Whether you do the ending where he appears in the far plane, or you do the ending where Tidus comes with you to Besaid Island at the end of the game, and everyone celebrates. Either way, I'm going to go with Tidus coming back, because it makes more sense. I think after Shuyrin disappears, Tidus comes back. And which makes sense, because two of the same people can't exist on the same plane. It doesn't make sense. Let's think about time travel. It's not like Dragon Ball Z. If you went back in time and saw your younger version of yourself, it would cause a causality, because it would make your younger version want to change, either for the good or for the worse, or they don't like what you look like, or they want to be too much about what you look like. It would change the past version to be somebody else entirely, which would change causality, which would change time. So yes, there's a good reason for Tidus disappearing at the end of the game, because Shuyrin appeared in the world, and Tidus, I think, is a younger part of Shuyrin, when, you know, Shuyrin was younger. So Jack's real son had to be Shuyrin, you know. But it does not mean Tidus can't come back. Because, I mean, after Shuyrin gets defeated and sent back to his time period with Lynn, and they just, you know, died right there after Shuyrin died and Lynn died, depending on your ending, you got Tidus back. So this is why this theory really stands still on its own, because after Shuyrin disappears, Tidus comes back. Well, it makes sense. Yes, that's why I said yes and no. No, because Tidus is his own character who shares a striking resemblance to Shuyrin. Like, he's his own person. But yes, on the fact that he is Shuyrin, for the fact that he's a younger version of Shuyrin. He's a younger version of Shuyrin. He's a younger version. And he's Jack's true son. Of course, I don't think it's going to be confirmed because Jack is already sent to the far plane at the end of Final Fantasy X after being possessed by sin and being beaten by battle. But it is confirmed. The reason why I confirm it is Tidus comes right back after Shuyrin's defeat. Again, depending on how you end it, depending what situations you do in the game. And even in the regular ending of Final Fantasy X, you see Tidus in the far plane. So Tidus does come back. He does, after he defeats Shuyrin. After Shuyrin's been defeated and he's dead, But it makes sense that you can't exist if your other parts exist. Meaning that in 10-2, Shuyrin existed after Tidus' disappearance. Tidus' disappearance, and this is only a fan theory and speculation. Tidus' disappearance caused the reappearance of Shuyrin. A 1,000-year-old man that's trying to save his girlfriend. And the girl looks too much like Yuna, meaning that somehow it predicts the future for Tidus and Yuna, since Lyn looks like Yuna, and ends up wearing her dress sphere. It also puts in the place, and it also puts in the future, predicts the future in a way, because Tidus is a younger version of Shuyrin, his younger version. So with that being said, it predicts the future. So yes, you already know Tidus and Yuna is gonna hook up at the end of the series. Now it's probably gonna play a different story because Tidus, even though he's a younger version of Shuyrin, Shuyrin had a different personality than Tidus did. So I think if it's anything like, it's kind of like, if I could put it this way, it's kind of like Silent Hill's Alessa, where there's a good part of Alessa, which that's the adopted daughter of Harry Mason, and then the bad one is the witch that does all the bad stuff in Silent Hill. It's kind of like that. Shuyrin is actually the dark side of Tidus, because he's the original. But he wanted to protect his girlfriend by doing a bunch of evil stuff to Spira. But yes, that's where I get the theory that yes, he's a part of Shuyrin. So yes, I think he is Shuyrin.